Hello everyone, my name is Salim and welcome to the Markets Breakdown Analysis for Friday, the 10th of November 2023. We'll be breaking down charts through the exact zones where price will close both potential buys or close below for potential sells as well. So looking at the daily candle for Thursday, the daily has been bullish at one point, breaking above the Wednesday daily high, approaching a daily rejection formed on Monday this week, which is the daily formed on the 6th of November 2023, which is also the current weekly high, as we can see. Now we're looking at weekly. The weekly still respecting this weekly rejection, the weekly rejection area. So now the anticipation for how the weekly candle will close. And what would be good to see is since the daily candle for Thursday will be closing bearish, forming a daily resistance, but still closing within this range. Now, I'd say the anticipation we would have based on the daily time frame is to basically a preparation for next week. So what would be good to see is if we see the daily candle for Friday closing below 184.530. So now when we put a line to where this low is, this is the current weekly candle low. Now the anticipation is to see the weekly candle closing bearish, forming a rejection to the upside, and then the anticipation for the following weekly candle to form a top wick and correct this move to push basically bearish. Now the only maybe issue that we would have is price tapping into these two rejection wicks on the left. And now to break down the chart and looking at the daily, obviously the daily will be closing bearish within this range on a daily time frame. Drop it down to the 4-hour time frame, and what we can see here is we have the most recent 4-hour support formed around 184.820. The most recent 4-hour resistance formed around 185.490. Drop it down to the hourly time frame and zooming in, and what we can see here is we have now we can adjust the level of support to 184.640. What we can do here is this is actually a big range on the left, but maybe what we could do is put a line to where this hourly high is around 185.020. Drop it down to the 30-minute time frame. Now we have a solid 30-minute resistance. We also have this 30-minute support on the left, and looking on the 50-minute time frame as well, we have a same level of support more likely. Yeah, we have a lower support, but based on the hourly, this looks good. So now to identify the no trade zone and to look at basically for potential buys and sells. Now what we're going to do here is for potential buys, what we could do is wait for price to break and close above. Let's go back to recent price action. Ideally is to wait for price to break and close above 185.050, above this hourly range. And for potential sells is to wait for price to break and close below 184.640, breaking below this hourly support as well. And this is going to be the no trade zone. And now to look for potential buys. I'm going back to the daily. So on the daily time frame, what we can see here is we have this daily resistance formed around 185.330. Drop it down to the 4-hour time frame. Now we have a 4-hour resistance formed around 185.470. Looking at the hourly, we have an hourly resistance, and then also on a 30-minute time frame, that's the same level of resistance as well. And we have this 50-minute resistance around 185.300. Now, I would say based on a 4-hour time frame, price could potentially tap this 4-hour resistance, but the only thing we need to pay attention to is how price will react once price tap into these lows around, let's say 185.260, 185.300. Because this is a range on the 4-hour time frame. So I would say the first target for buys could potentially be 185.470, targeting this 4-hour resistance. The second target for buys, now what we're going to do here is we're going to put a line to where this daily high, daily rejection formed on Thursday. Drop it down to the 4-hour time frame. Now this 4-hour rejection and the daily rejection matches with this previous 4-hour resistance around 185.890. Drop it down to the hourly time frame. We can adjust this slightly to 185.800 based on this hourly resistance. Looking at the 30-minute time frame, we have a 30-minute resistance around 185.850, and we have also a same level of resistance on the 50-minute time frame as well as the hourly and the 4-hour time frame. So I'd say the second target for buys could potentially be 185.800, targeting this hourly resistance formed recently. And now to look for potential sells, I'm going back to the daily. As mentioned, what we can see on the monthly here is we have this recent monthly resistance formed around 184.350. Drop it down to the weekly time frame. Clean traffic on the left. Looking at the daily, On the daily, what we can see here actually is we have this daily high. Let's have a look on 4 hour time frame. Now we have a 4 hour resistance around 184.220. Looking at the hourly time frame, and the good thing is we have clean traffic on the left here, so sales could be really playing out really well. Looking at the 5-minute time frame as well, that's clean traffic on the left. So I'd say the first target for sales could potentially be 184.220, targeting this previous 4 hour resistance formed on the 31st of October 2023. The second target for sales, now going back to the daily, actually the weekly, let's have a look. So the weekly, the first thing I can see here is we have this 2 weekly rejection formed around 183.790. Zooming in and dropping down to the daily time frame. Now we have this daily resistance formed around 183.880. Looking at the 4 hour time frame, we have this 4 hour resistance around 183.730. Looking on the hourly time frame, now we have a matching hourly resistance, and probably will be clean traffic on the 30-minute, but a messy range because of this 30-minute candle on the 15-minute time frame. So I would say the second target for sells could potentially be, we have this previous 4 hour resistance formed around 183.730.
Dominion Markets, your trading sanctuary.